You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
All right, here we go. Tuesday night, I would say reality check at Delta Center in Utah. Nick Alberga, Jay Rosehill, the Wednesday edition of Leafs Morning Take presented by Bet365. I think the heavy lifting starts now, Rosie, after the point streak. How do you respond after a loss like that in Utah? What's going on?
I should have in my contract, I don't do shows after beatdowns like that. Yeah, I don't know. What do you say, man? Kind of felt like a scheduled loss once it was happening. But I'm okay. I kind of what did you say? I kind of agree with you. It's big picture. Look at this whole road trip. But yeah, there's nothing good to pull from last night, is there?
Man, you could tell as soon as that puck was dropped, and even before that, when Gord Miller and Mike Johnson come on and are like, this could be a potential trap game. They dropped the puck, and it's like it felt like the Leafs were skating in quicksand, and it was everything we didn't see against the Colorado Avalanche. First and foremost, can you just describe that feel as a player? Every player talks about it when you just don't have it, and that's exactly what we saw last night from the Leafs.
Yeah, I mean, from what they've been doing, what they've been going through, that game in Colorado, like, I'm not making excuses, but it's like, why did they lose that game? It's like, well, they've gone through a lot. They've been on an absolute heater. They've been playing at a level that they're not even remotely used to, and it's been fantastic. And then you come to the culmination of that in Denver, working your ass off, taking, mental and physical energy out of you. And then you got to ramp it right up the next day. You got to get on a plane, pack your shit, get into the new hotel, and then the puck just drops before you even know it. And you just fall victim to like thinking, okay, the guy beside me's got this, right? The guy beside me's got this. And the guy beside you doesn't have it. He's thinking the same thing. Willie Nylander's dash for, Morgan Riley's dash for. Everyone's kind of hoping someone else can take the reins here tonight. And when everyone's thinking that, you get shelled. And it's not an excuse. It's not acceptable, but it's, I guess, understandable. And the thing to me is, that's fine. You were going to lose one. You were going to not get points in one of these games. This wasn't going to last forever. I'm looking at this road trip as a big picture. And what do you have to do to finish this thing off properly? And we had in our mind how many points you needed, blah, blah, blah. You already got through the hard part of getting a point and went the extra distance, got 2 points against Colorado. And now you need to focus on Vegas. You need to just check that at the door. Like, I doubt they'll even watch the video. I doubt they'll hardly address it. It is like, check that at the door. Don't forget your mindset of what we've been for the last 2.5, 3 weeks, and pick right back up on that. It's like the more you dwell on it, the more you address it, the more you might live in that mindset. Check it, bag it, trash it, move on, and let's keep the good vibes going into Vegas here, as they've got another test here on when the hell even is that? Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow. Yeah, I was going to ask that, like, piggyback off that. How much do you think what's happening Thursday night impacted what happened on the ice? Like, anything at all? The would guys be looking at that game and saying, like, wow, this is a big one for Nick. Wow, they're playing Mitch Marner for the first time?
No, they wouldn't even be thinking of that game. It's just the whirlwind that has been the last 10 games. The Colorado game, the travel, the elevation, the packing your shit, the back-to-backs. Utah's not a bad hockey team at all. And, sometimes teams meet and they face off against each other, and they're in completely different mind frames. Utah's sitting there, totally prepared. Let's throw the kitchen sink at them. They had our number in Toronto, back in, I don't know, is that October or November, early season?
Yeah.
And they were absolutely ready to give them their absolute best. And the Leafs just absolutely weren't. And it sucks. And you wish that you could still have enough to win the game. But there's nothing about your stars, your depth, your forward group, your PK, your PP, your defense, your goaltender that could have gotten the job done on their own last night. And it's they just had nothing, and I can't help but say it's kind of expected. I was like, if they dominate Utah, I was thinking before the game, this is just going to be shocking. It's going to be like, I'm not even going to know what to say. It's going to be like this whole new like chapter of like, who is this team and what can we expect in the future like this. And they're human, they're a hockey team. It was kind of, I don't want to say expected. I'm not like saying like it's okay or anything, but I'm not surprised that last night happened. What I'm concerned about is the response and whether they're able to pick up with the mentality that they've had the 10 games prior to it.
To me, it was the most sleepiest thing ever. Like I was telling a friend behind the scenes going into Monday, watch them beat Colorado and lose to Utah. And I beg to wonder what was more surprising, beating Colorado or getting shelled by the Utah Mammoth. But nevertheless, I think you have to compartmentalize. You look at these games, you look at what you're trying to do. I think we both agreed that maybe 5 of 8 points on this road trip and you'll take it. But you're right. It was just one of those ugly efforts. I know Craig Berube after the game said, just park it, shelf it. We're not even going to think about it. And I think that's exactly what this team needs to do moving forward. By the way, producer Vic does have a poll up in the chat at the Leafs Nation 401. How mad are you? Very/poor effort. So, not at all. Can't win them all. Right now, a resounding 75%. Not at all. Can't win them all. Where do you stand there? Very poor effort, so, or not at all?
There's 3 options.
Yeah.
I'm not rattled at all. If that becomes the linchpin that is them going on a slide or something, that's a different story. But we're not there right now. I am not. I didn't hear Berube's comments, but I am not surprised whatsoever to hear that he just says park it and move on. Like you had nothing. Nobody was there. As soon as the team felt like it was a lost cause or like we just don't have it tonight, everyone probably accepted it in a hurry. There wasn't a lot of fight. There wasn't a lot of pushback. Nobody had enough. And I mean, they're not the only team that's going to be put in that position with this schedule on an Olympic year. It just seems like since COVID, the schedule has just gotten crazier and crazier. It's just condensed and it's difficult. And then you add like, how long is the Olympic break? Is it 2 full weeks or even more?
I think it's longer than that.
Like it's even longer than that. I think when I was playing, we had an Olympic break in 2010. I got snubbed for it. I was ready. I was prepared, but I guess I got a little bit of a vacation and I thought it was 2 weeks. But like to have longer than that in the NHL season is wild. So they are smashing games in there. Again, on the road, Colorado, like that game was not like I'm going to not talk about Utah and go back to Colorado game, but that was high intensity. Like Matthews is playing like 26 minutes. He's head to head with McKinnon and Natchez every shift. They outbattled them. They outdid them. They won that game through sheer tenacity and commitment and effort and everyone buying in. And then to just like, it feels like your hair's on fire when you're expected to do it again. Like sometimes you're like, fuck, I just ate pregame meal and we're eating it again and we're getting on the bus and we're going to the rink and I got to do all this preparation again. And fuck me, the puck's dropping and it's like, God, I can't even get my, shit squared away here. And we're going again. And you're just like, and everyone feels the same way. And you're hoping the guy beside you can kind of carry, the load, but everyone's got the same mentality and you get shelled. And again, like Craig Berube says, shelf it, park it. We're not even going to dwell on it. You are playing way too good to say, what's wrong with this team? What should we move around? Like, fuck, dude, you've been playing phenomenal. Park it, pick up where you left off before that game, and focus on what you can control, which is the preparation for the Vegas game. All kinds of reasons to be fired up for that one. If they have a really lackadaisical effort in that one, they can't find their game. There's no jam. There's no hop. There's no intensity. Then we can start to talk about, okay, what's changed here. But just the one Utah game, you get shelled. I don't care if it's 8-1 or 2-1. You had no chance of winning that game, and I think everyone accepted that pretty quickly. Not ideal. You'd rather win it, but it's kind of expected if you ask me.
By the way, the final game prior to the Olympics is Tuesday, February 3rd at Edmonton. They return February 25th at
It's coming up
Tampa.
soon.
So 22 days off. Looking forward to it. Braden Point gets hurt. I think there's still limbo as to what's going to happen there, but a lot of Olympic talk coming up over the next month or so. Our Super Chat charity partner is Sick Kids. Want to make sure that your question or comment gets on the show. Hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and 3rd in the world. Let's get to the Dougie Hamilton conversation. On Tuesday's edition of TSN's Insider Trading, Pierre LeBrun reported that the Leafs and Hurricanes are 2 potential fits for the 32-year-old. We've talked about it a bit, but he's played 41 games so far, 5 goals, 7 assists. He has 2 years left at $9 million per season. I think on paper it makes a lot of sense, but a lot has to go Toronto's way, like New Jersey willing to retain a lot of money and not wanting to take too much in a deal. Like I think it makes sense to an extent. How do you feel about Dougie Hamilton in Toronto?
Yeah, it's a name. I mean, what are we missing? Like, I keep seeing Morgan Riley get put in pretty advantageous offensive positions out there, and it's just like, muffin time and no poise time. Like, some guys walk down, especially this day and age with the stud D-men that are out there and the offensive-minded D-men and what they can do, and they just bar that thing, and they're just so poised and just aggressive, and we just lack that so much. We don't have any defensemen to do that. I mean, OEL is our most offensive defenseman, I think it would be fair to say.
Yep.
At one point in time, it was Morgan Riley, and he's -4 again last night. Like, what is his plus minus now? He just continually is chasing the game and reaching into the back of the net while the goalie's sprawled out and digging pucks out of it at a rate that's fairly alarming. And if you're going to do that, some guys make up for it on the other side of the ice, and he does not anymore. So, an offensive defenseman would be nice, but what are we giving up for this guy? Yes, they would have to retain some of that $9 million. That's not crazy. You look around the league and you look at the Oilers and you look at different teams that have pretty high-end defensemen that are heavily paid. How much of that are they going to eat, and what do they want in return is my question. Like,
yeah.
Would the team be better if you inserted Doug Hamilton right now? Yes. What do we have to do to give up to get that guy on the roster? And that is my question. And then I can tell you that's worth it or no, that's not worth it. You don't want to, he's, what is he, 31, 32 years old? It would be awesome if we had like a pretty stylish, workable, solid, offensive upsided 23-year-old D-man, but those guys don't grow on trees. We've got an aging blue line. Ben Danford's the only guy kind of coming down the barrel that you could say, well, that could help out in the future. But again, I think, especially with the last 10 games, they are thinking we have a chance to do something right now. I think they believe in the front office. I think they believe in the organization. I think that they're just like us and saying, whatever the beginning of the season was, let's wipe it and let's focus on what we're doing right now. We know what our ceiling is. We know how good we can be. Now, how can we help these guys out and get over the hump of being really good and making noise in the playoffs? First of all, sticking in the playoffs, getting a good position for the playoffs. And I don't doubt they're sniffing out on Dougie Hamilton, but I want to know what they want for him. How much can they retain? Like, I'm not just saying, yes, get Dougie Hamilton, because the price might be way too goddamn high.
He's big. He shoots right, and he can run a power play. Like check, and check. I think, for example, if you get him at like $5 million and you're giving up nothing, a mid-round pick, then I'm doing it. Because not for anything, too. You got to look down the road. I know he's 32, but who knows if Tana's ever coming back. Carlo's got 1 year left on his contract. So suddenly you look around, and I don't look at Phil Myers as a long-term option. You look around, there's no right-handed shooting defenseman outside of Ben Danford who's yet to prove it at the NHL level. So it would make a lot of sense if the next acquisition is a right-handed shooting defenseman. Not necessarily Hamilton, but I think that's what you're going to see the Maple Leafs link to a lot over the next little while.
Well, he's got lots of pedigree, right? I mean, he's done great things. He's early first round pick. I remember him back in World Juniors, I believe, or his junior days, and he's
Yeah.
solid, and he's in that, kind of like, his jersey considered a dumpster fire right now. I would probably be fair to say Keefe is not having a good time. It seems like he just put out that video on Lake Ontario there saying all the best to Toronto and has this new opportunity with an up and coming team where there's tons of chance to have success. They're not. They're living in shit right now, and Dougie Hamilton's not playing awesome right now, is he? They're not happy with him. He's not contributing. He's not performing. So it's a bit of a roll of the dice to get him. But if they want to move on from that so much that they're going to eat $4 million of it and only want like a mid-round pick, oh, baby, let's go. Because the upside of the gamble, like if you can cash in on your gamble, you're getting a high pedigree stud defenseman with offensive upside that you just completely lack, who's right-handed shooting, which just seem to be these unicorns for some reason. The goddamn kids never shoot right when they're a D-man. We need it. We need it 100%. So, I mean, if that's the deal, Nick, 100%. I'm all over that. But I feel like they're not going to be willing to eat that much, and I feel like they're going to want something else in return, like are they going to want Nick Robertson or something? It's like, Jesus, man. Like, he's 24 years old and, doing things that we've been begging for. Like, I just am not interested in looking at a goddamn trade a year down the road and being like, what a disaster, what a panic button type move.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And I think the other thing that concerns me about Hamilton, he's getting older and he misses a lot of games. Like, I think he's played one full 82 game slate in the last 7 or 6 seasons. Like, he gets hurt quite a bit. He missed some time earlier this season. I'd be very weary. I know, Stetcher's name's there too, and who knows if he re-signs. I think he's worthy of a re-signing, but a lot of moving parts. And I think the positive is that we're talking about additions and not subtractions right now. Like, I know we goof on this loss and it was a tough game, but the very least, we're talking about possible additions to this team, right? Considering everything, the way things have gone the first half and plus of this season, right?
Yeah, like I remember when we were like we were teetering on the edge of, do we blow it up? Do we make huge moves? Do we think about 3 years down the road? Like, is this a lost cause? Is this core not able to do anything? Is there any character in the room? They were teetering on that with their play, like night after night after night. They had nothing. They had nothing that was inspiring or that would invoke any amount of confidence in the team. It was awful, man. Awful. And it's probably the 4th show in a row I have mentioned that Washington Capitals game where I was just like, I can't believe what I'm watching. Like, I was interested in blowing the whole thing up. These guys can't lead. These guys are not cut from the cloth that does anything that you need. But then they just flip a goddamn switch, like the Jekyll and Hyde Maple Leafs that they are. And they're not just, getting some points and getting some wins. They're playing some of the most inspiring hockey that we have seen in this generation of Maple Leafs. Like, as far as buy-in, effort, compete level, FU, chip on the shoulder, everyone together, bonding, camaraderie, all that stuff that you can see from the goddamn couch is going on. And obviously, tough time right now with the Utah game being a complete write-off. Again, that's why I say just shelf that, put it behind you, don't even think about it again, and pick up where you were with what you had the last 10 games. But I think that they believe in themselves. I think that they are buyers. I don't know to what degree they're willing to take a swing. You talked about Carlo, like he's up here soon. And like, what if he's not even on the team in the blink of an eye? And it's like, sick trade, Minton and a first rounder for a guy that's not even here in the blink of an eye. You just want to avoid that kind of shit if that in fact happens.
Yeah.
Just, having that regret and taking a swing on something just because you didn't even care what it costs. You want to plug a hole and get that off of your desk. Ugh, be careful, man. There's so many stories of Leafs trades gone bad and prospects and picks that turn out to be something you would have died for that you just tossed out just to kind of plug a hole today. I think that's why you got to be careful of that Dougie Hamilton thing. But if they really want to unload him and they want to get that off their books and make a change and send a message or whatever the hell's going on in Jersey, I'd be all ears for the chance at being on the right side of a trade for once.
Yeah, the fortunate news is that the Leafs have no first rounders to trade, and it's not going to take that much to get Dougie Hamilton out of New Jersey. Meantime, we got Ryan Whitney of Spittin Chiclets coming up in about 10 minutes now, so looking forward to that interview at the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take, wherever you find your podcast. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Crave the Stats is a presentation of Uber Eats. Every time the Leafs play at home, you get these exclusive deals only on Uber Eats: Firehouse Subs, BOGO Brisket Hat-Trick, Kibo Sushi, BOGO California Roll, Shelby Shawarma, BOGO Traditional Wrap. That's right. Buy one, get one before, during, and after the game. Uber Eats assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. So there goes the 10-game win streak. The first regulation loss since December 21st. Take that in, man. That's like a 3-week hiatus of losing in regulation. And it's just funny to me that everywhere you look in the Atlantic Division, like the Maple Leafs actually lost ground on a bunch of teams over the last 11 games. Like Tampa's won 11 in a row, man. Crazy.
It's ridiculous, dude. Like to go on that tear. I mean, I argue with a buddy here in out here where in my life he's a buddy. He's just a Flames fan, and he's just argues that, like, I'm like, how can you not see how heavy the Atlantic is? Like, I mean, how many years do you want to go back to when I was playing, where it's just like Boston's a monster. You've had Tampa had their run. Obviously, the Florida Panthers. Detroit's been in there in the going back a ways. The East in general has had these monsters, and then you're dicking around with San Jose and the Ducks, and Vancouver's been so up and down. Calgary had like LA. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? Like, if the Leafs are in that division, they're firmly sitting pretty, and now you're fighting like a dog for your life. You go on the tear. You play some of the best hockey that this entire generation has played, and you're barely making up ground. It's just such a kick in the nuts, because they've done everything they possibly could. And I guess it's not that big of a kick, because they've made this bad and they have to lie in it. Like, you can't play that bad of hockey at the beginning of the season as the Leafs had, but you'd think they would, Buffalo and Detroit and the fucking teams, Tampa and, Florida is just waiting to become the dominant team in the division again when they get some bodies back. Yeah. But it's tough sledding, man. It's not easy. And I think rightfully so. It's the NHL. You're not going to get handed anything. It's not supposed to be easy. And you shit the bed the way they did with their garbage efforts. You got some work ahead of them. So I don't know how this season is going to shake out. It's not going to be easy. But if they can continue to play the hockey that they have over the last 3 weeks, maybe it'll end up being a good thing that you're in this dogfight, that you're in this battle. You're going to have this Olympic break. Everyone's going to have to recheck what they're doing coming back from that Olympic break, and try to get things firmly on the rails and access your best again and finish the season the right way. They might just be like a train running down a track going into the playoffs, because they're going to have to fight like dogs to get into it, and playing at a really high intense level might just be old hat to them. I mean, that's the idea here, but I mean, they're not getting any help from anybody. That is for goddamn sure.
23 high danger chances for Utah on Tuesday night. I think statistically the most out of any game this season, and think back to the first 35 games. Having said that, I think the biggest positive I can pull, weirdly enough, is that they competed. It's not like the Maple Leafs looked disinterested. They looked gassed last night. And I like that even in the third period, they were taking runs. They were a little annoyed at Utah trying to run up the score. OEL had a big hit. Benoit tried to lay into a couple guys. So from that aspect and that point of view, I wanted to bring that up, because there had been bits and pieces throughout this season where you saw that team on the ice and they were anywhere but in that arena on that sheet of ice. It didn't feel that way last night. To me, watching the game, it was more so they just looked tired. They looked flat. It wasn't a compete level thing, thankfully.
Yeah, and I think that's why you can shelf it. Like, again, if anybody has, I don't know, whatever your job is or whatever you're doing with your time, when shit just becomes a whirlwind and gets thrown at you, and say you have to do something that's just like, that takes everything out of you, like all of your focus, all of your energy, you're at a deadline, and you have to just get this thing over the hump, and it's like, holy shit, and you do it, and you're like jubilated by it, and thank God, it's this great energy sucking thing. And then it's like, I just need a little bit of a rest, I just need a little bit of a break. But no, you got to get on an airplane, pack your shit, unload it, get on what hotel. Like, sometimes you're like, I don't even know I can't even remember what city I'm in, and the puck is dropping in 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
imagine they felt like that. These back to backs with the travel, and like, that's not an excuse. Every team in the league does back to back with some travel, and sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's like, yeah, you pop into Chicago and then you hop over to, and it's like, yeah, we're just doing a road trip. But with what they've been doing, and the excitement that's been around the team, the way they've been playing, and then to face the Colorado Avalanche. And I mean, it that takes everything. No one's been able to do it. Like, how many cracks at the Colorado Avalanche has every team that's faced them in the entire league had this whole season after 45 games? And hardly anyone's been able to beat them. And the Leafs go in there and they go head to head in their home barn at elevation. And it was an intense game. Like, I thought McKinnon and
Mhm.
Natchez were going. Both goalies are kicking. It was back and forth, trading blows. And fuck, it just takes a lot out of you. And like I said, you get thrown to this whirlwind and the puck's dropping. And I understand why they lost. It's like, some people are like, no excuses, fucking. It's like, what do you mean? I'm not their fucking teacher. I'm not holding them to a star. It's just what happened. Why did they lose fucking 6-1 to Utah last night? Well, here's an idea on why they didn't have it. It's kind of understandable. I don't know. Everyone has a different level of what's acceptable and what standard you're going to hold a team to. But you go back to backs like that after a performance against a team like the Colorado Avalanche. I guess I'm just saying I understand why they were pretty flat last night. Again, and I also understand why Chief and everyone else was like, park that shit. We're not even going to talk about it. I doubt they'll even watch a video. Let's move on, and let's keep the vibes that are going on the last 10 games and not dwell on kind of I guess you could call it a scheduled loss for some people against Utah. Park that shit, move on. Away we go. We know what to do.
Yeah, I thought the turning point was the Tavares breakaway there in the second period. And it's not just the Leafs, but it seems like a lot of, teams and players, and you can speak to this, have issues with left-handed goalies. Like Vejmelka shoots or has a different glove than most goalies in the league. Is that a mind fuck out there?
I don't know. I'm usually just staring straight down at the puck and don't really know what hand anyone's doing anything with. But it was, I mean, fuck. It was one of those ones where like it was like they like talked about it beforehand. It's like, hey, fire it right in my glove, like you were just warming a goalie up and just warming up his glove. It just went right in there. It looked kind of silly. You know, yeah, it didn't look awesome. And they throw John out there on the first unit, which I'm fine with, but it just, nobody had a whole lot of anything. And yeah, that could have been a turning point in the game. Say he just goes power 5-hole on that one and away he goes. But like, I'm not going to sit in this chair and be like, well, John, this is how you do a breakaway. Like, he's had plenty of opportunities where
Yeah.
he buried, made goalies look silly. Thought he had high left hand, high glove corner there, and put it right in his glove, and probably felt a little silly for it. It's just the way it was going for the Leafs last night. Again, I doubt anyone's dwelling on those kind of details right now.
I don't want to be that guy, and we're going to get to Ryan Whitney coming up here of Spittin Chiclets, but the power play is starting to go south a bit again, Rosie. 2 for the last 14 over the last 6 games. Are you at that point where you're like, shit, here we go again, or not yet?
No, not to that point. I mean, they know what it looks like. They know what it feels like. I think they've been finding looks that just weren't there before. Yeah, it's a little bit stale right now. I mean, I really think that, JT and Nyes, even through this run that they've been on, they haven't been themselves. I've been waiting for them to break out. And, with the emergence of, all the stories with Michelli and Lawton and Matthews and Willie, it's, you need those guys. If they start to cool off, you need someone to take their place, and you need to ham and egg it a little bit, with who's hot tonight, who's going to carry the team, who's going to pop off. And I know they're mixing things up right now, and let's be honest, Nyes and Tavares haven't been all that noticeable the last handful of games. And that shows up on the power play, I think, and they are mixing it up because they haven't had the success that they've had since Christmas. But I mean, I'm not panicking at the moment. I think they still have good feeling going on with it, and good looks. Talk to me in at Olympic break, and if they're still stale, then we can talk about the problems. But I don't think that they've just been riding a coaching bump for 3 fucking weeks. Let's be honest. They have been playing way better. They have been more poised. They've been finding each other. They're moving around. They're finding seams. They've been much better on the power play. I don't think that just has gone away for no reason.
I like that from YCF, baby. Bring back Savard. That's the topic du jour here on Leafs Morning Take at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as we bring in today's guests, a world-renowned from Spittin Chiclets. It is Ryan Whitney. Whit, thank you so much for doing this. How are you?
No problem, guys. How are you?
We're doing well. Obviously, an emotional high in Denver the other night. Not so much here against the Utah Mammoth. But how do you deal with that as a player? What does that kind of letdown feel like, Whit?
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. I would say the travel is probably more difficult than the emotional letdown, right? I think that you get on the plane, you're all excited. No doubt the vibes are so high in TO right now. Long flight, you get in, you just don't feel great. Team gets on you early, and it's kind of like, all right, this isn't our night. Ideally, that's not how it goes with the team, and you're fighting, but it ended up getting out of hand score-wise. But it's something where you look at it from the bigger side and say, all right, we're still playing really good hockey. Like total burn the tape situation, I think. It's such a different feeling around Toronto than, I don't know, when did we talk, Jay? Like a month ago, a little longer, where it was like, oh my God, this is ugly. And at this point, that's switched around enough where you're able to throw this away. Had this happened in the middle of the disaster of a few weeks ago, a month ago, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm. What do you remember, Whit, about playing in Colorado? Like, I remember getting there and doing like a pregame skate and looking around going, holy fuck, is everyone else legs just burning like you're skating in sand here? Like, do you remember that? What do you remember about being at elevation there in Denver? And do you think there's any effects of that after the fact?
I do remember the first time feeling it and feeling like, wow, like short of breath, don't necessarily have the same legs that I usually feel like I have. But I got lucky. Like my first few times in Denver, that was when they were struggling. They were in those years of between the Forsberg, Sakic, all that, and kind of later on, right? Like, or even at the end of those guys where it wasn't the same team that you're seeing now. If you went in there now, like that team now, and you actually get a win, I feel like you're allowed to celebrate like a baseball team, winning the division in the regular season. Like we just beat Colorado in Colorado because they are so good, so quick. And then the teams and the players who are feeling a little bit off, a little bit tired, it makes it even more difficult. But I do remember the first period, at least, just feeling a pregame skate, feeling off, not feeling the exact same as other times.
You buying this hot stretch the last 11 games or so here?
I'm buying it because Matthews looks incredible again. Like I don't know what happened. Like, I was kind of convinced on what I was watching that there was some sort of injury, and as a USA fan and somebody who knows that we need him to be at the top of his game to have a chance in Milan, it was bumming me out. It's like, and just like as a hockey fan, like this guy and the pace he's on scoring goals, just an incredible player to watch. So much fun. And I always saw the dynamic skating and how powerful he was with his body. He's probably more physical than people think, especially with the puck, the way he shields guys off. And so what I was seeing, it was crazy. I was like, he has to be injured. But he hasn't really missed any time. And all of a sudden it's all switched after that hat trick, or even before that maybe. And now it's like, all right, maybe if he continues to do this, they can, keep rolling, get into the playoffs. I will say I don't want to play them in the first round if they get in, right? If they get a wild card spot and somehow Detroit wins the Atlantic, it's like, wait, what? This is who we get? But the no Tanev thing for me for the rest of the regular season, I'm hearing, I don't know, has that been announced? I think it has been, is like, that's going to be tough to overcome. You're going to need really good play from a lot of defenders. And I just feel like there's such a different team when Tanev's in the lineup. So Biz keeps talking about like how good Michelli looks lately, and Domi's looked better, and Nyes has looked better. And so, yeah, if that all continues, I think they could get in. But the defensive aspect of it is a question mark for me with no Tanev.
And we were talking before you came on about Dougie Hamilton, kind of a possible dumpster fire situation in New Jersey. They unload him. Like, what do you think the Leafs would be willing to give up to get a right-handed offensive-minded defenseman like Doug Hamilton, who's not playing awesome right now? Like, what do you think the level of give is to get somebody like that to help out their blue line?
I don't know. That's tough only because I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up a ton, right? Like
No.
Dougie Hamilton, if you knew you were going to get 2 more years at $9 million of top-notch Dougie Hamilton, then it's a different question. But with him, it seems like it's up and down a little bit. I also think like you shouldn't really be put in a spot to give up that much, considering how it's very obvious they want to get rid of him. Like whoever's trading for him is in the driver's seat. Like it's been so public with them trying definitely once, if not twice, to get him to leave. It's like, you don't have to throw the kitchen sink at them. Yeah, they may say no. If you want him that bad, it changes things. But if it's a possibility that you're able to get him and you're able to say, listen, like, at least internally, like they have to get rid of him. They need to move on from him. They want to move on from him. So we could maybe get him for a price that we'd be, happy to pay. I just think Dougie Hamilton could go and be great there on the power play. He's got a hell of a shot. He moves the puck well, can skate. If it was bad Dougie Hamilton, that will be up there with the Larry Murphy, Toronto Maple Leafs booing situation. Like he just screams a guy to me that Leafs fans would torture if things went wrong. It's a big, not physical defenseman. That's kind of the bread and butter right there. So if he's not producing, that's when it could turn into a disaster. Now, he could easily go there and produce. He's done it in his career before. I'm kind of just thinking like I could see that one not work too.
Whit, how are you thinking about that Carlo Minton trade these days?
Oh, that's a tough one. Now, Carlo being in and playing and healthy with Tanev out, and if he could play good, that's a big deal. Like that's a guy who can be very solid, play top 4 minutes, and make a difference. But I got the Bruins games on a lot living here. Fraser Minton, he is a nice player. Like he is solid. He's a 200-foot player. Like I feel like people saying he'd be a great third line center on a really good team. Like I almost start to think in a couple of years he could be a second line center because he just does everything very well. I know he's well liked in the locker room. I know he's a good kid and he's playing great hockey right now. And then to get the draft pick too, that's the thing where it's like, oh my God, I get, but I don't want to be too hard on Toronto because last year they're up 2-0 in the series against the Cup champs. Like they were going for it. Those are the types of moves you got to make to go for it. It didn't work out, but if it had, nobody'd be saying a thing right now. I know it's like ifs and buts, but they had to shore up their D. They wanted a big body in there, and all of a sudden they lose a series that they could have won. And now you're looking at the trade when Carlo gets injured this year and Mitten's playing this well with the draft pick, and it's like, oh my God, like that's what I wish we could have back.
Yeah, and looking at the season as a whole, in the summertime, they made some changes, obviously, moved on from Mitch Marner, tried to change their identity. We thought there'd be some growing pains with figuring out who you are. It was a disaster. Like we've seen some of the most uninspiring hockey, like just no compete level at all, like embarrassing. And then they've flipped it at Christmas to the point where everyone, Matthews included, everyone thinks he's hurt. And all of a sudden he's this animal again. He's this dog. They're competing at a level that I don't think they have in years and years, playing the hockey everyone's been begging for them to play. What's your overall take on this team, what they've done, the departure of Mitch Marner, and how much belief do you have that they're a good team, or do you think this 10-game point streak they're just coming off of here is a bit of a fake.
Well, I think that this is way more of the team that they are, what we've seen recently, than what we saw early. Like going into the year, I guess I didn't appreciate how much not having Marner would kind of affect things early on. Now, that doesn't really give excuse or give a reason as to why like the compete wasn't there and there was nights that guys just looked like they really didn't care. Like that's not what I was thinking. But maybe Matthews struggling a little bit makes a lot more sense, and I can understand that. The compete thing is bizarre. Like there was just moments, like you said, like it looked like guys didn't want to be out there. They really didn't care. Now that's changed, and now you're seeing how this team can play. I think this is way more what I thought they'd be. Before the year, I gave over I said one of my bets of the year was Leafs over 99 points this year. Just thinking like Matthews is still there, Nylander's a superstar when he wants to be. Joseph Wall can be great. Like this is also at the time Stolarz is healthy, so I just considered this a really good team still. So what I'm seeing now, I'm not that surprised. I was just way more shocked at the beginning. But the power play, like lately, hasn't been great, even though it got going for a while. I got that with no Marner. It would be odd. I got the Matthews struggles for a little bit, and they're finally starting to figure it out. I don't know. The compete level thing is bizarre, though. With Berube as coach, too, it was, at one point, I don't really mind him saying, like, ask them when asked, like, what was that tonight? Why can't they get going? Like, at some point, I feel like a coach is like, I've done this my whole life. I've won a Stanley Cup as a coach. I don't really know what's going on right now because they seem prepared. They seem ready to go. And then the game starts and there's no energy and there's no fight and there's no like fire from within the group. But they're way more on track right now to what I thought they would be. So I think this can continue. Just like I said, though, no Tanev. It's a huge loss for a defenseman to be out that isn't a high point scorer or isn't running a power play and to still be this big of a loss. It shows how good he is in his own zone and his compete.
So moving forward to Thursday night, I'm not exaggerating this. This is the most highly anticipated regular season game, I would say, in recent memory. The first game here against Mitch Marner. Nicolas Waugh returns to Vegas as well. Don't forget that. But, it's going to be weird for Marner, but as like the Leafs, the former team, what's that experience like? Do you have any examples of that type of game in your career?
Not really. I remember my first time going back to Pittsburgh after being traded from there for the Ducks didn't go well for me. I don't really remember playing somebody that was an enormous part of the team that moved on. When Hossa left in Pittsburgh to go to Detroit after we lost to them, I got traded the next year in February. I don't know if we'd played Detroit at that point. That kind of would have been an example. But, Hossa had just come in at the deadline, went to the Cup final and left. It wasn't at all compared to what Marner did, being from the area, playing for the team for that long. If I'm a Leafs fan, I would love to see the best compete night of the season. And I'm talking, not in a dirty way, but like a guy running Marner. And it's not at all like, trying to injure a guy or anything like that. I'm saying like, we are here to take you down. Vegas is leading the Pacific. We've really figured things out. They were coming off a big loss after an enormous win. Like, let's go in and run him out of the building. Like, let's show him what, that he's not a part of this group anymore, but we believe we're better off. And that's something where you hope Matthews and Nylander that night are at the top of their game. They're flying. Like, it's a big FU game, I think, for both sides. Like, Marner could say, hey, I left. This is what I got now. Look at our team and try coming into this building and getting a win. And for all the Leafs guys, like, you didn't want to be here anymore. Hey, you had your reasons, fine, but we're not friends right now the next 60 minutes. We're enemies, and we're going to look to take it to you. So I'm fired up for the game. I think all hockey fans are. It's not just Leafs and Golden Knights fans. It's a game that you kind of get to circle at the beginning of the year. Like, I can't wait to see what goes down. But I'd want to see just super intensity from the Leafs, right? Like a ton of pissed off guys out there. Not at Marner, just that, you're not here. Like, you didn't want to be here anymore. Well, look at what we got type thing.
This season, Whit has been Jekyll and Hyde as far as the tale of two different type of teams. What do you project here down the stretch? Is this a playoff team? Are they going to get in? Are they going to hold it together? What do you think the future holds for the Leafs?
I think they get it. I'm looking right now. I'm pulling this up. All right, so they're sitting in the second wild card spot right now. The only team I'm really worried about underneath them is Florida, okay? Like, Buffalo's beneath them. I love what's happening there. Like, I know I'm on a Leaf show right now. Like, I would do anything if the Sabres could get in and the Leafs aren't in. Like, I don't really care if the Leafs get in. Although I think it's better for the game when they're in. But if Buffalo could get in, I'd be very excited. But the Leafs are in a spot now where they fought their way back up. And the Eastern Conference is so tight, so they fought their way back up. Can they stay there? Can they continue to move up? Can they get a top 3 spot in the Atlantic? I don't know. Like, I don't know if Detroit or Montreal are going to be falling back down the way that they maybe would have years prior. But I do see Toronto getting in. Like, I just can't. I don't know. What is the Stolarz news? Like, have they said any? Is he skating?
Yeah, he's close. He's with the team.
That's a scary situation. So. Because that guy, he was so good last year. And Wall, when he's healthy, he's awesome. It's like Demko in a way. It's like, all right, he's great right now. Like, when are we going to find out that he's got a groin or he's got something here? It's just like, he's not very reliable based only on, like, availability. So if Stolarz can get back healthy, Wall could stay healthy, I think that they can get in the playoffs. I think they will get in the playoffs. Then it's a kind of a situation like, who knows? Like, who knows what they could do, right? The East is odd this year. I don't think Tampa looks great. They've won 11 in a row, and if Florida gets in, like, then it's like, oh, here we go again. But the East is wide open, so just get in and figure it out. I believe they will, based on the fact that the first half was so gross, and now they've looked so different. It's like, all right, I would think that from moving forward from now, if Matthews is this way as well, that this is the team that we thought we'd see that is actually here. And it was just a rough start.
I like that approach. I know you're a busy cat. I can't thank you enough for making some time for us today. Appreciate this.
No problem, guys. Thank you very much for having me. I'll talk to you soon. All right, see ya.
Sounds good. Take care. It's Ryan Whitney of Spittin Chiclets breaking things down. And that seems to be the consensus around the league and the bunch of interviews we've done the last little while, that people think the Leafs are starting to figure this out a bit. And they're going to make the Stanley Cup playoffs. And I tend to subscribe to that theory. Just get in, and that's all that matters. Rosie, how often have we talked about opponents the last 4 years of doing this podcast? I think you've realized quickly, just like I told you, it doesn't fucking matter who this team plays in the playoffs. As they showed the other night, they're capable of beating anybody on any given night. That's the way I view it, at least. I don't care who they play. I just want them to get in here.
Well, yeah, that's been the theme this year. I mean, that's the position they're put in based on their play the first half of the season. You're just focusing on getting in. But again, I think it lends itself to the potential of hitting your stride or feeling the right things going into the playoffs. If you, in fact, do get in there, I don't care who they play either. This division is just such a schmozzle of, like, who knows who anybody is. Like, I'll take any single person in the division, and we've kind of conceded the fact that we just want to get in right now. We've been at the point where that's the bonus and that's the goal in itself. But I don't mind the idea of not limping into the playoffs like they have so many times because of their regular season success. Who should play down the stretch? Should we rest this player? And why is he playing? He could get hurt right now. I mean, fuck me. You're going into the most intense part of the season. I want blinders on. I want heads down and asses up. And I want to be flying into the playoffs, not limping in talking about, well, should we play him trying to get to 70 goals? Like, fuck that shit. We are a team. There is no other storyline. No personal accolades, no bullshit, no rest, no trying not to get hurt. That's just chicken shit. Leave that behind. Let's be barreling down the tracks right into the playoffs from the last day of the regular season to the first day of the postseason, ready to play the most intense hockey that there is, and not even give a shit who you're playing. I don't care if it's Buffalo or, like, I don't care. Let's worry about ourselves, worry about us, and do your best to access that type of hockey that we've seen 10 out of the last 11 games. And that will take care of anyone that's in your way. It's one of those worry about yourself situations.
Zach Phillips did reach out to me, and he wanted me to ask you a question. You ready for it?
Maybe.
How tall is Dennis Hildeby?
We have to be done at 6-7. My youngest.
Well, he
still
played like he
says
was
that.
4-7 last night, Rosie. I think it wasn't his best effort. I'm joking, but I'm not placing the loss on him. But I don't see how a team can hit the post 4 or 5 times when you're 6'7". I just don't think it was one of Hildeby's better outings. Again, not placing this on him. Nobody had it, including the goalie.
No, and I thought that if they were going to win this game in Utah, it would be on the absolute back of Hildeby. Like,
yes,
I did not think they were going to give him the greatest chance, and if they did win or were in the game, it was because he is just kicking everything aside. But they left him. I mean, some of those opportunities they got, it's like the seas part and the house that you protect to your death is wide open. Nobody's there. The scoring
tough,
chances. Like, was it the worst amount of scoring chances they've had all season? Like high percentage scoring chances that they gave up.
23.
They didn't give Hildeby a chance. And at the same time, that was not his best game. I think I even said yesterday how he hasn't had a blip on the radar. Okay, you can call that a blip on the radar, and whether there's something to be concerned about or not, he had no help. There's just not one redeeming quality about last night or yesterday. It seemed like, sometimes you feel the energy and you feel the vibes in the room and on the bench, and when it's not there and it's not there and there is not one guy that's going to get you to be pulled back in there, it's kind of like, fuck, it's one of those days. And Hildeby was part of that story, no doubt. Again, there's nothing left to do with the Utah game except to shelf it, move on, and hope to continue that feeling that you had of confidence playing the 10 games in a row where you were getting points.
I thought those boo-birds from Michelli in the first period are kind of cute. It sounded automated. There was like 7 or 8 people booing the guy. And I thought the highlight of the night was Gord Miller almost coming to blows with Tusky, the mascot, there in the third period when he was in his line of sight. But other than that, I want to move ahead of this Vegas game, which we'll do in mere moments here. It's time now for the last call, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in the game. Use code NATION. That's NATION, NATION. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit ConnexOntario.ca. We'll get to some super chats as well, but first, your play of the night. I think I'm going to take the over between Seattle and New Jersey. That's my play tonight. A quick backdoor last night, by the way, on my over with the Leafs and Utah game, with Utah going crazy there in the third period.
Nice. I'm taking the over in the Sens and New York Rangers game. Chances for either one of those teams to fill the net. So I got that, but I'm with you. My eyes are kind of on the Thursday night Leafs Golden Knights game. I guess we can do that tomorrow, but definitely looking forward to that one, as it's been on the calendar, circled since July. Is it? Honestly, total brain fart move by the league to have such an odd, uninspiring, anticlimactic return to the Leafs and Marner being a Thursday night in Vegas. It doesn't make sense to me. Nonetheless, the people that follow close enough are going to be invested, and I can't wait to watch that one.
Yeah, looking forward to it. A little rattled too. Like, I think so late in this season, you almost forget about that storyline when it was the hottest last summer. And then the fact that Marner is going to be in the second half of the back-to-back in both instances. Like, Vegas is in LA tonight. So a lot of you asked in the chat, is half the team going to be over at the Marner residence, tonight for dinner? No, they're not, because Marner's in Los Angeles. And then next week, it's the back half of the back-to-back too, when he visits the Maple Leafs on the 23rd. Let's get to some super chats. MRush89 has a couple of them. As good as AM's been, I worry about his playing Game 7 last year and the first half of this year. I'm okay with playing it out, but I don't think we should swing big trades, but I'd be okay with some depth moves. He adds Myers for Shen. Jets get young D-man. Well, Myers is 28, so he's not really young anymore. Pair Shen back with Mo, Michelli, and Carlo for Olivier, and a first to give us a good pick and the league's toughest who can play the game. That's a playoff team. I love the idea of Olivier. I don't think Columbus is trading that guy, especially after making the coaching change. They win last night against the Calgary Flames. It's quite clear that team is trying to make the playoffs. Again, things could look differently before the trade deadline, and maybe they have to sell, but I don't know if Olivier is going to be a guy that's available.
No, I think just what you said, they believe they can play in the playoffs. They're making moves to try to get to the playoffs. They're not moving out a guy like Olivier, so I don't see that.
Yeah.
A right-handed defenseman I think we need. Is it Luke Shen? I don't know. You would have to get him for next to nothing. And the main reason I like that is just the fact that he's had a history of gelling with Morgan Riley. I mean, Morgan Riley he's not an asset to this team. He's been a liability. Let's be honest. Just last night, -4 against Utah. Not the first time that's happened. He is fishing pucks out of his net at an alarming rate and not doing too much to make up for it. So that's all I would say about that, is we know that he can complement him all right. But that Dougie Hamilton is more interesting to me right now. If they really want to unload that guy and the buyer is in the driver's seat, if you don't have to give up for much and they're going to eat some salary, like if you get yourself put in a situation where you don't feel like you can lose, that's a good place to be.
Lastly, just want to confirm you're not here tomorrow, right?
Yeah, correct. I guess I don't get to make my bet tomorrow. I won't be here, but I'll be here on Friday.
Why don't you put forward a bet and maybe just a quick thought on this game? I like what Witt said. Like, in a perfect world, that's how you're playing Mitch Marner, but this Leafs team, we've seen time and time again, handle stuff a bit differently, I would say.
Yeah, I would love it if they had some snarl and some FU and some, this is what we're about now. My bet is that the Leafs win. Marner has an assist and Austin Matthews has a goal. I think they'll be hyper-focused from all the big dogs. I would not be surprised at all if Marner gets on the score sheet, and I'm willing to bet that it's in the form of an apple. And I bet you Matthews will be going again too and trying to get everybody back on track after that Utah game. I think he's going to snipe as well, but I think the Leafs take it down and they're going to get retribution from that Utah game.
Love it. Looking forward to getting down there tonight. I think it's going to be a vibe. I think it's going to be an atmosphere. I think there's going to be more Leafs fans than people think at T-Mobile Arena tomorrow night, and looking forward to that game. So reconvene on Friday, man.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. Glad that one's over. Don't love those shows after the nasty losses. So, again, park it. Let's pick up where we left off in Vegas.
Yeah, my only saving grace, I have Dylan Gunther on all 4 of my fantasy hockey teams. That guy is so nasty and gets no recognition, and I could see him being on Team Canada in 4 years from now, but I digress. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys are fantastic. Appreciate the super chats. Thanks to Ryan Whitney for dropping by. Should mention as well, coming up tomorrow, super fan herself, Jackie Redmond, is going to join me and David Pinotta, and we're going to break down this game and preview this one against the Vegas Golden Knights coming up tomorrow night from T-Mobile Arena. Thank you to producer Vic. For Jay Rosehill, I'm Nick Alberga. We'll talk tomorrow from Vegas. Take care, everybody. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews. We got clips. We got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.